Monday. I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. Downtown Nino Brown. Yes, sir. Welcome to another marvelous episode of Overreaction Monday. I am the governor of college football. And with me is the wavest to ever do it, CFB Moon, a.k.a. Moon McAfee today.
Moon McAfee.
you about to be lit today. You know what I'm saying? Headphones on, you got the over-the-ear joints on, and my man don't got a chair like I'm due. You know what I'm saying? He's ready to be lit to talk about college football. I don't want to waste any time. Nino may jump in here at some point. I know it's been crazy for him today. He's been working a bunch of hours, the time of the year where, he works a bunch of hours in the field that he works in. So let's get right into it. We ain't going to waste no time, brother. First thing first, I Papa freaks all the honeys. Dummies. Virginia quarterback Chandler Morris, he's well traveled. He's been in Norman. He's been in Fort Worth, North Texas, UVA, and he's really had an outstanding career this past season. And I kind of wanted him to see. I think you wanted to see this as well. Him go play for his dad. We know his dad is the offensive coordinator at Clemson. Had a lot of success there during the Taj Boyd era, during the Sammy Watkins era, during the B-Hop era. Like, just had a lot of success there. So let's talk about it, bro. It's a lot to this. It's a lot of semantics to it, as it always is in the offseason. So he pretty much had not a similar issue, but the 2022 season, just like it was weird for Trinidad Shambliss, it was also weird for Chad Morris. I think the unfortunate part of it is we're sharing all of this information that is supposed to be known as private, right? This is supposed to be followed by the HIPAA compliance, and we're giving out all of this delicate information so that these players have another opportunity to play at the collegiate level. I got a couple of questions for you right now. I want you to be really honest. I want you to be really candid, like you always do. And Chad Morris was denied. He won't be playing college football this year. Was the court right to deny Morris, or is this another example of the system being inconsistent, especially given that Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Shambliss was granted an injunction in a similar case? Also, Joey Aguilar lost his case as well. Talk to me, bro.
Honestly, I think it's both. I think the court was right to deny, but it also is at the same time another example of the system being inconsistent. And the reason why the system is inconsistent is because there's different judges that are making these rulings in each state. So it leaves me with the thought process, I guess Virginia don't care about football like that. Because you saw Ole Miss, they said, NCAA, I know you just tried to put in this appeal.
Yeah.
Denied.
I mean, we already knew in the state of Mississippi, football breeze. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing else to do but go play some sports or have some kids or both. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing else to do in the state of Mississippi. And we knew that without a shadow of doubt, we didn't care if he had lost a preliminary, whatever. We knew once it got to the Supreme Court in the state of Mississippi, there was no way that Trinidad Shambliss wasn't going to be on that roster for 2026. We knew that. I thought we had something similar with in Tennessee, because we saw the Tennessee was able to sue the NCAA and won against the NCAA a few years ago. I don't know. It's kind of like Virginia is below the Mason-Dixon line. It is considered a Southern state, but it don't breathe football the way that they do in the South. It just don't.
Nah. Hopefully this year it could be probably the best year for Virginia football ever, possibly.
Best opportunity for them to win the ACC championship in 30+ years, and they lost. You know what I'm saying?
You got two schools with Virginia Tech and Virginia. Then ODU I still got high hopes for ODU, Liberty. So there's a lot of schools. Even Norfolk State. I'm trying to see what Coach Vic does and the bounce back from after last year. Just belt.
Yeah, expectations weren't realistic at all.
No, it wasn't.
But it's difficult though coming into an HBCU year one. Well, unless you're Deshaun Jackson. And
they overachieved. They really did overachieve.
They did. Best record in 20 some odd years.
Yeah, but like Chandler Morris situation, the 2022 season with him having a medical red shirt, they say he only played one game before he got hurt. Then he came back in a backup role capacity. If we talking about the same logistics, This is basically what Trinidad's Chandler is saying in this situation, but it's a little different when it comes to the fine print and all that. And then you also had like Fair State. They lost some paperwork on their end, so it helped Trinidad and his. UVA ain't losing no paperwork. So Chandler Morris.
That's not happening.
It sucks. It sucks because the last time I saw him, Duke was raising the banner in a trophy in the ACC championship game. So that part is tough. But were they right to deny? Yeah, because every state can. So
what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts overall? So we know that the NCAA, the hill that they're willing to die on, is clearly eligibility, and I get it from a safety. Hill. Yeah, but there's so many other hills that I think that we need to put at the forefront. That the NCAA just say whatever. This is the hill that we're going to die on. So, what does this look like a few years from now? Like from a semantics perspective, will we continue to see these? Of course, COVID year gave everybody a free redshirt year, whether you played or not. It gave everybody a free redshirt year. So, what will we see like 5 years from now? Will we still see these these Van Wilders of sorts still hanging around trying to play college football? What does that look like?
I don't think so, given what we're going to talk about later on and in the show. Just stay tuned, keep it locked. But I think it's going to shift because the eligibility number is going to go down. I've talked to a lot of different coaches and personnel, and I feel like one thing that's been in agreement is that they all feel like, 5 years, like have 5 years. So this end of the 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and TJ Finley's and like all that is out the window coming up, in August. But Chandler Morris situation, I think that he should still be eligible because of him missing the majority of the season. I think it's going to have to tweak medical red shirts, the timing, what the language and the fine print of a medical red shirt is.
It's 2 games or fewer, right?
Think so. And then
I think that's what the language is currently. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then he qualified.
Right.
If you don't count his snaps as a backup, because if you dress, then does that count, or does it have to be actual game?
It's like
reps?
Pandora's box.
Exactly. So you're gonna have more people trying to. It's like kids when you establish a new rule in the house. It might seem like everything's gonna be the case right now. Everything gonna get better, but there's always loopholes to everything. So does it shift? Yeah, I do think. How drastic is that shift? I don't know yet. I do know that Virginia is in a situation where Bo Prabula and Eli Holstein and Chandler Morris is on the outside looking in saying, dang, do I go be the coaching staff with Clemson with my dad? Do I go to the UFL? But they already started. NFL draft process, I didn't get to compete in that because I'm still trying to figure out this eligibility thing. So he's kind of behind the 8 ball. That's where things is like, all right, now this kid's future in the game and sport that he loves is now in question.
It's in jeopardy for sure.
It's in jeopardy all over a medical red shirt for a knee injury that actually happened. It's not like tonsillitis.
It wasn't imaginary.
It wasn't imaginary. He actually had that. So I think maybe, just maybe, this wouldn't be an issue if he wouldn't have transferred so much. And I don't know how much that had to do with it, but could the judge have said, "Oh, this man transferred 4 different times. Like, he want to do it again?" Like,
right.
How much does that have into it? Like that part for me, it's just compelling. It's very interesting. But I think it's similarities between Trinidad Chambliss, even the Joey Aguilar situation, quarterbacks coming in with that eligibility, but. We see quarterbacks as kind of like the faces of this eligibility movement in a way. And the NCAA is saying, like, nah, dog, like, we coming for y'all.
I think they're a little bit more lenient because it's a quarterback versus, like, imagine Sean Taylor played till he was like 25, 26.
Cracking heads like nobody's business.
I ain't never dug no smoke, bro. I'm catching a ball. I'm going to get out of bounds real quick.
You going over the middle?
What if it's a 92 mesh? I will, because the depth isn't crazy. But if you want me to run a slant, bro,
No.
no.
Negative.
Even a skinny post or a bang 8, hell no. That's not happening, bro. Not now, not never. No rice, no champagne, no nothing. It's not happening. All right, let's one more question about Chandler Morris before we move on to our next topic. Will he ever suit up and play football again? Could he be a UDFA? Does the NFL still do the supplemental draft? They used to do it back in the day. I haven't heard if they've done it at all recently.
I think he's behind the 8 ball. Because we're less than a month out from the NFL draft. So
Not even.
we're
we're talking days.
Days.
15
couple of weeks.
15, 16 days. I'll be there, of course.
So that's kind of feels like it's off the radar.
Yeah.
I mean, Chandler Morris always felt like a quarterback that's going to end up being a college coach somehow, somewhere. I don't know how he gets into the ranks.
And those make the best coordinators, coaches, because of, dude, I've been there. It's not somebody who hasn't played at that level trying to talk to you. It's somebody who's actually been there.
You know what I thought about?
What's that?
Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
The Kellen Moore pathway. I mean, this will be a great story for a Road to Glory. This would be a great story for a Madden superstar mode.
For sure.
But, it don't work all the way like that in real life. So I don't know what the future has. I don't know if it's going to be UFL, him trying to, work out. I know he's probably still working out because, he's been participating on playing this year.
Right.
But now we start saying, okay, I know they're going to try to appeal it, but where are we at in that process and how realistic is it? Joey Aguilar said, nope, Joey, sorry. Like, could they do the same thing with Chandler and be like, nah, dog, go to Clemson with your pops?
That's a pathway. Grad assistant or whatever.
He already graduated.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's not one pathway. There's multiple pathways. And guess what? Your playing career may last, anywhere from 7 to, 14, 15 years if you're lucky. More than likely like 12. But as a coach, you're talking about 40 plus years.
50.
You're right. You can do this for the rest. Even if you want to get into what we're in, the media side of it, we're seeing more and more former quarterbacks doing what we do, and they can talk the language that most people can't talk. And I think that's outstanding. Let's go ahead and
start off as a grad assistant under Tony Elliott. Then work your way up. Like, let's say you take a ODU job or, Virginia Tech job as a quarterback coach. And then you never know. Like, you look up a couple of years from now, your name is gonna be like that kid that once was denied to like, nah, like he was actually pretty solid, like at UVA, like for sure. So I'm wishing him the best.
Quickly things escalated for Zach Kittley, bro. He's a college basketball player.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and fell in love with this coaching thing, got with the right people, got around the right people, and he's the head coach at FAU, who I think is about to have an outstanding year this year. So I'm not sure how long he'll be in Boca Raton.
He needs to find like a Texas Tech that could steward him in the right approach, because you find the right system on the community.
Absolutely.
Now you got you're a staple, and now we stop focusing about being a quarterback, and you start being like, okay, I could be a quarterback coach. I can who can else be underneath my coaching tree? And I'm sure he's a football savant. Who wouldn't want to be in college football coaching? We love this shit. So
right.
Excuse my language, but Chandler Morris gotta love it.
Yeah. Nah, I feel it. I think that'd be outstanding for him. So this is something we're going to continue to follow. College football is at a really weird point from a semantic perspective. And I think sometimes the semantics overshadow how good the sport is. I think you and I agree this 2025 season was a top 5 season in recent memory for sure. I had it at number 2. With
behind those 7?
Yeah, I had it at number 2, bro. It was up there for me. So let's not let the semantics overshadow what happens in the fall. We still get quality football in the fall. And I see so many people like, it isn't the same, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, shut up. like, don't separate what's on the field, the field play from the semantics. Yes, collective bargaining could really solve half of our issues if we said, you know what, let's start treating these student athletes like employees because they're being paid like employees. Then I think that solves half our problems.
Hey,
but
guess what?
What's that?
there's somebody else that got some problems right now.
Oh man,
But it might not look like it.
You want to talk about it?
our dude, Sonny Dykes.
Man, let's talk about it. He just got a contract extension. I think we're starting to see a lot of schools do the kind of like the vote of confidence, Like, you know what? Hey, these last couple of years been rocky, but we remember what you did when you had the roster construction that you needed, the talent that you needed, and you produced, and 100%, and we're cool with that. But talk to me about this extension. I think this will keep him there till about, what is it, like 2030?
2030?
Yeah, it'll keep him there. So, we know about we got to discuss the elephant in the room. Josh Hoover.
Wait. We'll get to it. Because Sonny Dykes was talking crazy.
42 interceptions and 31 starts is what he said.
Yeah. How you going to do Hoove like that? Like he didn't have Eric McAllister. Like he didn't constantly get bailed out.
I think my issue with the statement was that it was like, I'm tired of hearing about this kid. Like, he's gone. He's in Bloomington. He's no longer in Fort Worth. Jaden Craig is looking like he's going to be the guy down there in Fort Worth. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it, and I think what you got is a frustrated comment.
Sonny Dykes, yeah.
But it's noted, though. Oh, this how you treat players after they transfer? Like, you can't preach family, and then somebody goes to try to elevate themselves and better themselves, and you say, oh, 42 interception and 31 starts. He absolutely threw Hoover under the bus because interceptions at time is a loaded stat, right? You down 4 scores because your defense played terribly, and this kid is trying to come back and he throws a couple interceptions. So, oh well. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. Because we know the Big 12 is what? First to 42, 49, depending on the week. And I don't like the way that he could have definitely, I agree with D now 100%. He could have handled that 100% better. He really could. Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on it?
You got I agree with you. Another lens that we get the chance to see. The media be asking the same question over and over again. Like we don't got Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini to ask another question. Let's talk about Jaden Craig. Let's talk about the loss of Bud Clark. Let's talk about Eric McAllister not being there no more. You know what, though?
That's why we stand out when we go to these events. Because, you see coaches' eyes light up. Players' eyes light up.
Every single time we talk to them.
But continue. You're right. Continue.
The media ask the same question over and over again, so I cannot fault Sonny Dykes for being frustrated with the same personnel when it's the spring and we talking about a player that's not even on our roster right now, a player that, to be honest with you, was getting courted last year by Tennessee because they was in his DMs.
Boy wasn't even in the portal.
He wasn't even in the portal. Sonny Dykes had to deal with this last year. He's been dealing with this whole Josh Hoover thing for a while now. While I think he respects. I can't say what he feels. I'm not Sonny. But I feel as if he respects Hoove. But when you hear comments like that, it's like, whoa, buddy, hold on. That's your guy. So it is a ripple effect, damage control, trying to clean up, trying to figure out like, okay, does this next class that comes in, are they watching this and saying, dang, he treated Hoove like that? Is he going to do me like that?
A lot of production.
Jaden Craig is a smart young man from Harvard. Transfer coming in. Everybody going to find out about Jaden Craig in 2026. But when TCU has the most wins of any Big 12 program since he arrived in 2022, Sonny Dykes with the 36-17 record, he has the audacity to pop stuff off, and I can't be mad at him.
Consecutive 9 and 4 years.
Consecutive. Sure. And this is probably TCU has some games that they should not have lost. That 9 and 4 could have easily been 11 wins, 10 wins. For sure. And we looking at this contract differently. So, like, is it the right time to extend Sonny Dykes? Yes. And I say, one, because you want to make sure you lock him up before anybody else can poach him. And then
which they gonna do anyway. If they want him, they'll do that.
Yeah, they'll do that. They'll hit you up just like my dude Luke in class.
Luke Ferrelli. Yeah.
Luke Ferrelli. Hey, Luke. Hey, Sonny, how much it take for you to get bought out your contract?
Hey, that man asked Dabo. Pico to ask Dabo Swinney, hey, you got 14 bricks in that bag?
Hey, I love college football. It's like the bold and the beautiful. We get storylines every day.
We love it. We've always
in this situation, I think he's gonna be straight because I feel like while Hoover is a Ferrari, I ended up getting me a Lambo myself that might not look like it might look like a poor man's Lambo. It might look like an Audi. But I'm about to be in that Audi driving, and who knows, we might win 10 games this year. And then people say, dang, Sonny Dykes, he was doing it. Well, that's the reason why they extended him now.
Right.
Like, but then the other side is I think they just like his system. They like his system. He is synonymous with TCU right now. It's a Christian university, so
what do you got? One losing season since he's been there?
I think it's one, but we gotta fact check it.
I'm pretty sure it's one.
That's impressive, especially in the Big 12 where you could be up 1 year and then have no returning starters next year.
I think it was after the championship appearance that they went like 5-7. I'm gonna double check that though.
And he's not that far removed from being smacked by Georgia.
Yeah, 2023 they went 5-7 after going 13-2.
But you know how we have the question marks about Indiana saying, okay, is Hoover going to Indiana? Is he going to be able to continue this transfer portal magic that we saw over the last, 3 years with Indiana, with Curtis Rourke, then Fernando, then now Josh Hoover? The answer to that is yes, sir, my fine friend. Yes, sir. But can TCU continue that same type of magic with quarterback play? The answer is yes, sir, my good sir. Yes, sir. Because Jaden Craig, man, in your downtime tonight, when you getting ready for bed, type in YouTube and go watch some Jaden Craig, what they got on there. You know, listen, he's an exciting player, and I honestly feel like Sonny is coming in this situation kind of with this humble, braggadocious confidence, saying like, yeah, Hoover left, but I'm gonna get it done with a guy that I wanted. And I don't feel like that's a bad. I want Sonny to have more bravado, because him being timid and soft and all that type of stuff is not going to get the job done when you got a juggernaut like Texas Tech that's still there, the favorite coming into this year.
And the resources are plentiful. And they have a lot more money for their roster than you do. So they're going 9-4 and not spending half the money that's been spent in Lubbock.
What do they have to do in order to justify this deal? He has to win the Big 12 championship. He has to win a Big 12 championship. And I would love to say like college football playoff stipulations and things of that nature, but that's kind of like outside my control. If I win the Big 12 championship, I guarantee a spot to get in there. Last year, it started off as like 2 possible choices with BYU, Texas Tech. I'm just giving 2, right?
Right.
But then it reduced down to 1 because Texas Tech crushed BYU twice.
Yeah, they couldn't.
And the committee said, why are we about to put the same team that just got walloped in the college football playoffs? I don't care how many win streak they went on. So you got to win the Big 12. You have to win the Big 12. You have to continue to develop your talent. You got to be able to recruit and stand in recruiting wars right now that's going on. I have to fact check where their recruiting class is, but like that's what he needs to do. He needs to continue to stack. I think this is a new chapter of TCU football, and you know we have a lot of seniors that left. Like Bud ain't there no more. Like
that's a tough one.
We're going to have to figure out what that looks like.
If you know, you know. That's a tough loss right there.
Huge loss. So he just got to win, keep winning. It's not like he hasn't been winning, but you can't keep stumbling over games that you know we need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or we shouldn't have to keep scoring 40-plus points every week in order just to win. We gotta line up the defense. It's a hard pill to swallow when your offensive coordinator leaves and goes to South Carolina. Like, it's a hard pill to swallow when you don't got that safety blanket no more. So I'm interested to see what it looks like. Skeptical, not so much. Maybe about his words about Hoover. But I think Jaden Craig, when you got a quarterback like Jaden Craig, you can pop your collar a little bit, shrug his shoulders. You can feel a little confident, bro.
I'm sure the early returns, he feels like Jaden Craig is more suited for their system than Hoover is. But I'll tell you what, that kid that's in Bloomington right now, hearing those comments, having a coach like Kirk Signetti come back and you know what I'm saying, and stand up for his QB, and this is why players want to play for Kirk Signetti.
He said, I made the right decision.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to light it up. Oh, this how bro really felt about me? Oh, yeah. You better pray. You better pray we'll be trying to college football playoff, bro. Because it's about to be problems. I look at this situation like this. in the Big 12, if Texas Tech don't win it, it's a problem. But the teams that I believe that truly can compete, I'm interested to see what BYU does this year. Houston, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Houston is legit. Houston is legit. And then I'm trying to think about more teams. Arizona.
I'm putting Arizona in there.
They were so close last year. Like some of the games that they could have won a year ago. And you will have to say TCU is there. You would have to say they're there in the thick of things, but I think it's Texas Tech should have a large gap, and then it's kind of everybody else. What teams do you think are in there for the runnings?
I don't think people are ready for this reality, but Oklahoma State could very much so go from worst to in the top half of the conference this year. And the reason why is because their system traveled from Denton, Texas to Stillwater.
Right.
And they have so much talent to come in that I think that anybody that just can look at roster construction and say, you got your starting quarterback, running back, top 3 wide receivers, added transfer portal talent, still got some question marks on defense, but she was able to recruit and basically just say, oh, we're going all in on the portal. We'll focus on recruiting later. I think Oklahoma State is in the classic candidate to be from worst into top half. Doesn't mean that they win the conference at all, but like I wouldn't be surprised. They should be loaded.
They should be able to turn it around quickly.
Yeah, I'm big on Houston. I'm big on Arizona. Texas Tech is cream of the crop. BYU is still up there, especially after they beat my Jackets in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So I had to put respect on them. I was kind of like up and down on BYU throughout the year because I said they should be dominating more than this. But you know, that's the cream of the crop. And then you got the middle pack, the Baylors with DJ Lagway now. You have, you know, other players is, you know, trying to make those next steps. What does Kenny Dinningham do after Sam Levitt's not here no more? And no Raleek Brown no more. And then you got the bottom of the tier, bottom of the conference. What are y'all doing? You know? And I don't want to call out any names. You know who you are. What's up? What we doing? Because what's worse? Getting smacked by Texas Tech because you are so good, or being at the bottom of the conference and have to constantly get blown out and have no escape for survival? Because the Big 12 is loaded.
The Big 12 worst, may be the worst of all of the P4.
Yeah.
You start to look at school. This is like Kansas. You start to look at schools like what's going on in Boulder right now.
I actually like Colorado this year, and I feel icky saying that, dog. I feel icky because I wasn't a fan at the beginning of spring. I wasn't. You weren't. I know it's Brendan Marion and that go-go. I came around.
I'm wondering when this happens. Like, when does this happen? Because you got two guys that's
so
super alphas. At some point, they're going to have a disagreement. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the unavoidable.
Yeah. I do think the outlook is more to like about Colorado this year. Juju, he got some fire. I think Juju got in a fight at practice today. I don't know.
Oh, quarterback's getting in a fight. Yeah. You want to rock with him. Quarterback getting in a fight. You definitely want to rock with him.
My dude Cam Perry been open all spring. Like, I think there's a lot to like about Colorado, but it's just so many.
We gonna find out soon. We find out early with Colorado though. Very early.
You don't gotta wait.
Week 1. ain't no waiting around. And they played Tech really well last year in Boulder. But they coming to Bobby Dodd. And guess who'll be there? We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there.
You know what I'm saying? So, a lot to talk about. So let's move on to this next story. Kind of the main topic of what we're talking about tonight. Super excited to really hear your opinion on this. I kind of already know how I feel about it, of course. But let's talk about this. President Trump signing the executive order for the agenda of saving college sports. He signed it on April 3rd, and it was an urgent national action to save college sports. This order directs the NCAA to cap eligibility at a 5-year window, limit athletes to one transfer with immediate eligibility. So they're saying one transfer you get for free, the next one it is a red shirt, and crackdown on NIL, pay-for-play arrangements, all effective August 1st, 2026. Schools that don't comply risk federal grants and contracts. Power 4 commissioners and NCAA praised the order, but called the Congress to pass the SCORE Act. Alrighty, here is my issue with this. I'm so glad that the president is involved in this because we know that the leader of the NCAA, Charlie Baker, wasn't going to do this at all. They wanted to die on this eligibility. Bro, we got more serious problems. We got bigger fish to fry. Charlie. Alrighty. So who's going to enforce these rules? Who's going to enforce them?
The National Guard?
Because what I just read said, hey, these schools risk losing grants and stuff from the government.
Yeah.
They're supposed to say, F your grants. We don't care.
Got that NIL check, bro.
Who's going to enforce the rules? It still leaves me back at square one. Who's going to enforce the rules? The NCAA ain't enforcing nothing. They ain't enforcing. They paying you jack shit. They're not enforcing nothing. Who enforces the rules?
Hey, Trump, come in, save us. Ooh, Trump, he's saving it. Oh, right. Dang.
He's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
He doing what he's supposed to be doing. But then at the same time, y'all still ain't did nothing.
Buddy got a Iran to deal with. He got bigger fish to fry. So who enforcing these rules after August 1st? Because a person like the Abbo gonna be like, he did it. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? What you gonna do about it? Yeah, Dabo don't care. Dabo is the Charleston White of college football. My man is snitching, dog. He said he did it.
Bring dude over here. You see him? He did it. He did that.
Hey, shout out to Gucci. I heard Gucci didn't snitch. Pooch actually do that to Dabo. Dabo, come here. It was but in all seriousness, shout out to the Trump administration to be able to get this done, to at least get the ball rolling in the right direction. But it leads me to the same question. Who's going to enforce the rules? Of course, they've got penalties for programs. You lose. Let me pull this back up. Was it like 50% of your scholarship?
Or grants or something. It was like attack grants. Scholarships.
Yeah.
It sounded like
fines. Fines
like
fines
when the
as well.
NCAA comes down and puts the hammer on you, but the only difference is coming from the government. But my thought process is, you gonna have the National Guard to enforce this? I'm being serious, like for real. Because how? First off, I didn't even know President Trump was this big of a college football fan.
Yeah, for sure. And he's been talking about this for the last year. So shout out to him.
But college sports in general, like if we look at the bare bones of it, limiting athletes to one transfer with immediate eligibility, I think that's attacking the core issue that we have. But eligibility isn't our main issue. Me and Governor, man, you got a whole laundry list. Let's talk about NIL. Let's talk about the transfer portal.
What about Pete Golden and Luke Ferrelli?
Tampering.
That's what we care about.
You should put these rules in place for tampering.
Right.
These rules should be in place for tampering. We could still figure out, because listen, we only just went to one window for the transfer portal, and I feel like things went better. It was more hectic during that time, but I think things went better. We don't have
100%.
Yeah, we don't have to worry in the spring right now. Kids just about to leave.
It's just the ghost transfers. That's the only issue right now. But we're talking about 1% versus 99%. Yeah, and that's all it is. That's what ghost transfers are. It's the withdrawals, and then people are enrolled at another school. But that's 1% versus 99%. It's not the chaos that we had a year ago with the spring transfer portal.
So developing talent, but you only have a 5-year window to do so. That makes me have questions, because what does this redshirt year truly mean then? Because if I have to wait, or if it's capped and I have to graduate in order to trap before I transfer, then that puts some ripples in there for these kids that's out here. It is more structure. You got that checked off, so yeah. However, there's the other side of it with the NIL pay for play and the arrangements. How much are y'all getting your hands into this? Because it came out a while back saying that, hey, any transaction that was over $650 or something like that.
Yeah, it was either $699 or like $600 flat.
Has to be flagged.
Part of the, what does it go? Pay go, I go, something like that.
You go, I go, pay go.
Yeah, something like that. I know what you're talking about. I'm so glad you brought this up.
So we
ain't been hearing nothing about that.
Nah, we haven't. So it's almost like, it makes me think, okay, because it's an executive order, we supposed to respect it? I don't even follow the rules when I'm in my own spot. So what makes you think that I'm about to follow an executive? Or you don't come out here. You're not coming to Clemson University. You're not coming to Georgia State University. You're not coming out here to Georgia Tech. You ain't going to Oxford. I dare you won't make it out of Oxford. Talking about, but not, like, all jokes aside, I just have trouble, just like you, trying to figure out how they gonna enforce it. Is it gonna be the National Guard? Are they gonna be the College Football Playoff Committee? Like, are they gonna be the compliance?
Martial law, dog.
Dang, bro. I did not know it was gonna get to this
I have
point.
an example for you, and this is where I think the loopholes are gonna be crazy. So let's say player A uses one free transfer, right? Mm-hmm. But the next time he transfers, he has to get a red shirt. What happens when the university, you're supposed to be the guy at quarterback next year, but they bring the new shiny quarterback to be their starter next year. I'm just supposed to be stuck here now? Like, what happens with those loopholes? Like, that's where, my mind
like what
goes.
happened at LSU. They doing quarterback roulette over there.
Yeah, they are.
And then now we signed Sam Levitt. What happened to the other guys? Like, in your point in that example, it's kind of like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like,
Right.
What is the best scenario? I don't like the government getting involved with college sports. But at the same time, the fact that they have had more courage to get involved than the NCAA itself for the things that we need, people complain about the sport so much, but then people complain about Trump too. So it's like a lot of complaining going on, but then at the same time, what makes college sports beautiful? For a kid to be able to have eligibility in the window and be redshirted and saying, hey, we're going to develop you. I wonder where development in college football, how much that's going to be impacted in this situation. Because, yeah, we reduce the blow on this end, but what about this end on the backside? It's AKA the backside of the blessing.
Right.
So does the order fix anything? I guess. But Congress, I feel like Congress already got too much to worry about right now, bro.
I look at it like this. I think, you know how it is. Like, we both play sports, right? You play football, basketball. Basketball, you come out, you know what I'm saying, do your, you know what I'm saying, whoop, whoop, you know what I'm saying, layup line, all that. But then I'm looking, and I'm looking at the other team layup line, whatever drills they got. Who got number 1 on? Who got number 3 on? You know what I'm saying? Who got those numbers on? And I'm monitoring them, and I'm doing an eye test. The same thing with football. Oh, they a little bit bigger than this. Okay, I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? What they looking like? What they looking like in their drills? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at all of that, and I'm doing an eye test just like do with, you know what I'm saying, other men that I meet. It's the eye test. I think Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, who is a natural leader, hate him or love him, he's a natural leader. He's a born leader. You know what I'm saying? And I think he looked at Charlie Baker and said, this man ain't going to get it done.
Nah,
and I think he feels like how we feel. Like, think about it. Even when they had the meeting, right? And they should have had some players there. That was my only beef with the meeting. You need a player representation there. Where was Charlie Baker at? Donald Trump at the head of the table. Who was at the corner like this? And every photo we seen, it was Charlie Baker at the corner like this. Like, bro, you're the president of the NCAA. The government is trying to help you fix this mess of college football from a semantic perspective. Where are you at? Where's your leadership at, brother?
In the corner.
In the corner, chilling, bro. Looking like he don't want to be there, bro. The president of the United States took his time to meet with you, and you over there in the corner. Granted, I wasn't in the meeting. But I'm just, from the transcripts that I read, a shout out to Ross Dillinger, who had a lot of the transcripts out. And from the pictures that I seen, Buddy was in the corner like these. Like, you know what I'm saying, looking like he was embarrassed to be there because now the president of the United States got to save me in my mess. You know how embarrassing that is? You know how embarrassing it was for our parents when we went outside and embarrassed our last names, or they got nice, clean clothes for us. We want to wear dirty clothes outside. Like, boy, don't you be embarrassing me. Like, yeah, that's embarrassing, bro. That's real embarrassing, bro. For real.
I think this whole situation is probably going to get worse before it gets better. And I don't think that just because August 1st, 2026 comes, this is the same president that has taken people and hired them and fired them within a year of them being in the role. So if I'm being honest, like, this executive order might get canceled and thrown out by the end of 2027. I
think it was an attempt just to try to help somebody who isn't naturally a leader.
A leader.
Granted, on the NCAA side of the thing, they say, hey, we didn't want this. Y'all want this. Y'all got it. Y'all deal with it. But that's why I think we have all been on board saying you need a commission. You need somebody running that commission that's going to hold everybody accountable, regardless of affiliation, any of that crap. Like, bro, you break the rules, they need to be enforced. Now, what's the limit? You know what I'm saying? What's the statute limits? You know what I'm saying? How far back are we going? I think it just need to be from that date onward. So Luke Farrelly and Pete Golden would be in the clear. But we do need some type of legislation, and it's really embarrassing for the president to have to get, like, I look at you and I, like, you know how you got alphas, right? Mm-hmm. Alphas like to be the main dog in a big crowd. I've always felt like I'm a Sigma. I'm a lone wolf. Excuse my French, my nigga. We can go in these woods and you can find out the type of man I am. I've always been like a lone wolf. Now I do know a lot of people. Like I grew up on Lever, for crying out loud, but I've always been 10 toes down and on my own too. Like that's how I've always been. So I don't know. I'm just trying to look at this thing because I wish we had invites there. Because you guess where we'd have been sitting at? Charlie
at
Baker,
the front.
Scoot over, bro.
Get out the way, bro.
Go
get some
go
water.
ahead. What's up with you? Is you cool? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been a conversation with you.
The crazy thing is, we not lying. Like, we dead has be in
Right,
situations with people, talking to these people. Like, what you was smoking, bro?
Yeah, right. Like, what's up with you?
Bro?
Like, and that's just like kind of coming from volatile environments. But shout out to President Trump for trying to get the ball rolling. I think both of our issue is, well, okay, who's going to enforce these rules? Yeah. Like, yes, the government can pull grants away, but in Knoxville, Oxford, Tuscaloosa, you know what I'm saying? They got money. Yeah, they got money. Oh, your grant money? Here you go. And Eugene, Phil Knight wipe is, you know what? With those grants, bro.
How much was the fine? Okay, cool. You can pay that with the Nike money.
Right. Like, he was huge in getting Michael Jordan to sign with Nike. His mom wanted him to get shares. You know what I'm saying? He was like, all right, cool. And they was like, are you sure? He's like, F it. I'll deal with the board. Don't even worry about it. Let's just change the world, right?
Yeah.
So real quirky dude. So I think, and I loved your point on it as well. Like, we're expecting him. Like, bro got serious issues going on right now. Like, I don't like to get political at all. That's not my thing. I ain't a Democrat. I ain't Republican. I want options. I want to know everybody. It should be 8, points of foundation. I want to know how you feel about abortion. I want to know how I feel about all of that before I make a sound judgment. So, this ain't no political shit, but like, seriously, who's going to hold people accountable to this, right?
Not for real, because like, it's the equivalent almost of, if I have a problem in my house, right? And it's either I could learn, and it's really, let's say I had a problem with my plumbing in my house.
Right.
But the house is nice. Like, every time I bring people over, we have a great time. Right. But when they go to the bathroom, though, like, oh, boy, like, things just go to havoc, right? Still a great house.
Right.
Still got groceries. Still got heat.
Right.
Like,
aesthetically. But then you start getting to the foundation.
Exactly. And then I'm sitting there like, okay, either I could learn how to fix this toilet or fix the plumbing, whatever. I could research, go to YouTube University, Google, ask Claude, Gemini. I could figure out how to do it, right? Teach myself a new skill. Or I can go get outside help and call the plumber and do it. Some people would say, oh, you're smart, Moon, for going to call the plumber. I can't do his services. Why not just pay him to do so? The problem is that there's no country for old men, and that this old guy is still here at the top, and he don't sitting on his hands. He don't want to do anything. So that's my thing. Like, we have a beautiful house, which is college football. We have some infrastructure problems that, when you go up the stairs, you got to lean a little bit when you go up. But, we love it here. It's still our home. It's what we love. But I'm sitting here thinking maybe we need a new person in charge. And how do we go about that? Can you sign an executive order to take him out of position?
That's it.
You can fire everybody else.
Preach. Hey, man. Talk that talk.
I'm feeling the same way about the playoff committee, bro. Y'all sat here and met for hours upon hours last year trying to convince us and said we debated all night. But y'all made the choice to put Miami in over Notre Dame before y'all chose to meet. So what was y'all up here doing? Eating pizza?
I played doing politicking.
They knew what they was doing, bro.
They try to find a 15, man. They try to find a move. They want to talk college football.
Hey, Gemini, what's the move tonight?
It was like me on Saturday. Needed some help.
Hey, so who benefits the most from these rules? The established Power 4 Blue Bloods, G5 or G6 schools, or the players themselves, or neither?
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
That's why you my dog. That's why you my dog.
Nobody wins, bro. Nobody wins, bro.
Oh, man.
You killed that. I think we got a couple shorts out of that one, bro. for sure. All right, let me go down to these banners real quick and put up this last one. So we're going to talk about the toughest schedules 2026. We know for years the SEC kind of rules this thing, right? You'll typically get 1 or 2 Big Ten schools. Speaking of which, I'm going to say this. What Tony Petitti has done in his tenure, right, as commissioner of the Big Ten, all I do is win. Man, yeah, man, where the applause button at? Man, let me get my media assets, man. Where they at? Round of applause, man. I think they just won a hockey championship, women's basketball, college basketball, college football.
Good, bro.
They did. Like, good. Tony Petitti is the best commissioner in college sports. He is. Greg Sankey, my apologies. You're a stand-up guy. We met you in person, shook your hand, but he's winning right now. And, Greg Sankey's up there as well. I got Tim Pernetti is high, very high on my list. And y'all know I do the commissioner rankings every spring, so I can't. Yeah.
He like a mob boss. But
he is.
He in that same Brett Yarmark. He in that same mafioso type mentality.
Yeah, he is.
But
I think he the hitman though. That's the difference. Buddy like 6'5", 6'6". He gonna walk in the room and treat you like Joe Pesci, dog. Like that's what Tim Pernetti is going
like
to do.
Debo.
That man walked by like he ain't even see us. I'm like, hey, hi, brother. I'm back in your city tonight, walking around with my head high. That's how Tim Pernetti is, though.
Hey, you funny, bro.
Hey, bro.
Side note. The Michigan fans. Clap it up to the Michigan fans. Cause listen, bro. At the end of the year, oh boy, the sky was falling. Michigan's brand was at a minus.
It was.
But
Jerome
now,
Moore.
give me a couple of months and I'm back on side, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And now,
the Fab Five was there. That was incredible to see. You know who I was happiest for? Elliot Cadeau. Because them UNC fans talk so dirty about that young man, blamed him for everything. Where Hubert Davis should have had more of the onus. And then he had 3 players with similar, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, you can run 3-guard system in college, but they all can't be 5'11", 6 feet. No. They just can't. Villanova did it in 06, but that was Villanova. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I don't know. So, I was so happy for Elliot Cadeau. And guess what? He popped his collar and he told this shit. He talking, Buddy told this shit, bro. And I was so happy for him, and people was pulling up his stats. He's a champion, bro. You know what I'm saying? Championship. That's what we always like to say. What they gonna say now, right? So, shout out to him. So let's talk about some of these toughest schedules in college football. It's crazy that we have a doc. I don't think we've used much of it at all. I've went back on it to get on topic, but we just been talking ball talk, and that's what I like to do. So the top 10 toughest schedules in college football. What's that?
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I know Arkansas is getting all the love for top schedule that's the worst in the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the toughest in the country.
Toughest.
Could I make the argument that Texas's schedule is more loaded than that?
Yeah. Of course.
Like, I feel like Texas's schedule is absolutely loaded, bro.
So what did they use for the strength of schedule? Was this the strength of schedule like based on last year when lost? Because there's like 2 or 3 ways to calculate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking they use
or predictive measures that they can use, like how good a team will use, like using like the SP plus to signify who has the toughest schedule.
The JP poll, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's predictive in nature versus reflecting in nature, the 2026 schedule, then I'm like, because I look at Texas schedule and I'm like, they open with Texas State. You remember last year when we started Texas football, we had to play San Jose State and all those other schools. We had to get our rhythm, and they were struggling. They only got one game.
They were still struggling.
They had to play UTSA last year too. So they got to play them again, but they got to go to Tennessee and then they host Ohio State. They get a bye week early, first week of October. I would want that bye week later on.
Yeah,
than
idle.
early
And
on.
even though you get 2 idols, that's kind of early for an idle week.
Very early first week. So, you know, I mean, you might need it because you got to go to Neyland, 100,000 plus, and then you got to take on Ohio State in the home.
Is that their first time in Neyland? Might be.
That's a good question. It might be. Yeah, it might be. Damn, that's a nugget, bro. That's a
Damn.
nugget. They got them favored -8 by Tennessee today. So, you know, you got a bye week, then you got to go to Oklahoma, home versus Florida, home versus Ole Miss, home versus Mississippi State. But the reason why I say it could challenge Arkansas is because they got to go to Missouri, to Death Valley at LSU, and then they close the season at Kyle Field versus Texas A&M. If it's projected measures,
classic.
they're going to be favored in probably most of their games all year long. I don't see any game where they're not favored besides Ohio State at week 2.
They won't be favored there.
Nah, they're not going to be favored. But, I mean, I can make an argument that they could, but, nah.
I can make an argument that they should.
You know, but Vegas is like, well, bump both of y'all opinion.
Right. Our friends out west, they tend to know something that we don't.
Yeah, but, like, I just thought about that because I know we're going to talk about Arkansas soon. But, like, everybody right now, I feel like you talked about it a lot on Governor of College Football, but I feel like people need to put more respect on Texas's name this year. Cam Coleman, Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers. I mean, they could win an SEC championship. They really could this year. If you're looking at teams that could win a championship in the SEC, I think Texas could. They still got to get over the hump that is Georgia because they still ain't beat them yet. But like that's
putting BTA in them boys too.
You got Dia Bell in the cut, waiting behind Arch. You know, the quarterback room is loaded. That week 2 game is where we all circling, like, and, you know, they win that game. The rest of their season, I would say, is manageable. Or at least I would be cautiously optimistic.
Right.
You know, if they come out of that Ohio State game. Last year, the game was close, and it wasn't even that impressive. You know, it was a defensive stalemate, basically. But I guess my thought process is, one, is Arch going to leap into that next tier of quarterback, which we've been saying that he is. 2, this wide receiver room and the potential that it could be. 3, can they fix the offensive line pressure rate? Because Arch was getting freaking...
And they couldn't open up holes for the running backs last year.
No. So
it was bad, bro.
I'm hearing Cooper, Derek Cooper turning heads. I'm hearing some good things about
What type of intel you got? Talk to me.
I'm hearing Cooper turning heads. The recruiting class are getting comfortable. A lot of people talking about Melvin Siani, the offensive tackle, because they need all the help they can get on that.
I heard Sark's been locked in. That's what I heard.
You heard Sark's been locked in?
I heard there's been a different intensity with Steve Sarkisian.
I mean, he felt it at the mountaintop the last couple of seasons. I think Will Muschamp being in the building though, replacing Pete, I think it's gonna help.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna help because you got Colin Simmons. Speaking of Colin Simmons, Colin Simmons probably dropped the most fire NIL video ever made.
I didn't even see it. That's crazy,
bro. This man said that he was built in a lab, and then had the whole video of him being built in a lab.
Oh, that man was in the Matrix.
Crazy.
Out there looking like the Terminator, bro.
Crazy. All right, that's enough Texas talk for us. Let's go
I like it. I like what you bring to the table. So let's talk about Arkansas.
Dominant spring narrative right now in Fayetteville is the defensive line is needing a rebuild. And Quincy Rhodes might end up being the only returning starter or contributor at that position. So they lost some coordinators. I mean, they lost some starters with Cotton and Wilkerson leaving. Anthony Kennedy, Danny Beal, they're players that we're going to look to see can they be productive in the SEC early. Everybody's talking about Silverfield. We talked to Coach Silverfield, so we know him personally. That's our dog.
It's a difference.
Yeah, it's a difference versus people that's just saying woulda, coulda, shouldas, and versus actually having a whole 30-minute conversation with the dude.
Well versed,
well cultured, man. They're gonna have to rebuild their offensive line, They're going to have to get some protection from their transfers that's coming in. This quarterback battle that's going on right now between KJ Jackson and AJ Hill. Nino's been keeping us plugged in with this for the longest amount of time, but it's still unresolved, and it probably could be unresolved until fall camp. So
I don't like that. I'm not a
I
fan
hate
of
that. I hate that. So, they do got some injuries. David O'Kee, the defensive lineman, which is one of their biggest needs right now, for defensive line. He had an injury-hampered 2025 season, and his availability and everything, we're going to have to watch that heading into fall camp. But if you talk about their schedule, my dog, at Utah, at Texas A&M, at Vandy, at Auburn, and at Texas, they are not favored in any one of those games that I just mentioned.
Wow.
Then you got to play home against UGA. Whew. Tulsa, North Alabama. Don't sleep on North Alabama, bro. Tennessee at home. They get Missouri and South Carolina at home before closing the year off versus LSU at home in a rivalry game for the boot. So, I mean, last year they started off with 2 wins before just collapsing for the rest of the year. They wasn't competitive in certain instances. In certain instances, they were. They had a 3-point loss against Mississippi State. Want that back. 3-point loss against Texas A&M. Want that back. Especially since Texas A&M went to the college football playoff. So I feel like they constantly play up and down to their competition. Up and down. I want to know what that looks like. A good year for Arkansas is getting 5 wins. Y'all get 5 wins. That's a good
an
year.
incredible year. Yeah.
In my opinion. Because I feel like y'all have the number, 1 or 2 is debatable. Off schedule, toughest schedule in the country. So it's all going to come down to Silverfield. It's all going to come down to whether or not how it clicks. From what I've been seeing on Hogs Plus and everything, shout out Hogs Plus. I've been saying, like, man, Silverfield might just shock some people, bro. But I'm hoping. I'm just not going to put it for year 1 just yet. But their schedule is brutal. I think the only game that they're favored all year is opening week versus North Alabama. That's crazy. That in Tulsa. Versus North Alabama, they're favored by 25. Dog, 25. Whew. Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, they've been here. They were here last year. They were here the year before.
It seems like every year we talk about Oklahoma as having a tough schedule.
Yeah. And they weathered the storm a season ago. They really did.
This is Brent Venables' 5th year now? I'm not sure. 5th?
Yeah. Is it year 5? Because last year was year 3. Might be year 4.
Year 4?
I'm not sure.
Year 4 or 5? It's in that range?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I've been hearing a lot of, injury news coming out of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. That's concerning for me. You talked about it on Governor of College Football, all the different injuries that they have. Their schedule beginning with conference play on the road at Georgia.
That's rough.
You got to host Texas. Back-to-back defining games against SEC peers where,
They also play. They traveled to Ann Arbor this year. Michigan was at Oklahoma this past season.
And the last taste that we have in our mouth of Oklahoma is losing on a Friday night against Alabama in the college football playoff opening round. And I still haven't been able to get that out of my mind.
That was rough.
Yeah. They got some losses on their defense. But I think that they can. Defense is always his calling card. So I'm not going to sit here and think that Oklahoma not going to be good on defense last year. I mean, they were impressive, bro. The pressures that they send, the amount of disguising that they do, they can make quarterbacks see ghosts for real. But it's what does John Mateer and Arbuckle look like? I think that's what
in year 2
this year. This was this
They were
year's
a little
look like.
behind. They were a little behind last year, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like in year 2. What adjustments that they make. His health, he was not healthy last year at all. So I want to see the kid healthy. I think Oklahoma can be really good. Satania is going to put up some numbers this year in that system.
He changed his number too, right?
Yeah. He's number 1 now. I like that. When
Come
I
on,
think of-
Satinga.
yeah. So yeah, I'm hopeful for Oklahoma. It's like everybody in the SEC pretty much got a tough schedule, but they're all tough schedules aren't the same, right? That's how I feel about it. So Purdue,
Ooh, Barry Odom.
yeah.
They got to face Notre Dame out of conference. They close the season with Indiana. Essentially, how does Purdue survive one of the toughest Big Ten slates as the program is rebuilding? I just think that they got to stay to their core. It feels like everybody else is growing up around them, and it's like, when are they going to hit the gas and the accelerator too?
Did you think Barry Odom jumped the gun? I would have waited.
A little bit, yeah.
Of course, hindsight being 2020.
A little bit.
But like they needed some work. But they played Indiana, then they played Wake Forest. I got Jake Dickert and them at UCLA, Notre Dame, Illinois, Minnesota, Washington, Penn State, Maryland, Iowa, Wisconsin, Indiana. It's gonna be another rough year.
I only see Wisconsin as a win.
Oh yeah, and maybe Maryland.
Maybe Maryland.
Another offensive coordinator, another system that Malik Washington has to learn. And now that Pep Hamilton is gone as OC.
I like my quarterback where we are with Brown. I like what we got some pieces in place. I do think we can make some strides defensively, but if you don't have nobody on the outside that can put fear and strike fear into opposing defenses, then they can just continue to load up on the box, and you can't even establish an identity physically because they're gonna try to nuke that, every time. I'm optimistic though about Barry Odom, but I'm not really expecting much from Purdue this year. I'm not even gonna try to sell everybody on that.
Nah, I'm not either. Like you're saying, I'm literally looking at the talent that they got on the outside, and Xavier Townsend, Assad was seen.
I like him. That's our dude from FAU.
Yeah, a lot of production. He also played at Colorado, and I like to see the numbers get up a little bit. But definitely a guy. Tunnel screens, bubble screens, give him the ball quickly, let him make plays. So it'll be interesting to see what this production looks like.
Let's run through these last 5 real quick.
Yeah.
I gotta get you out of here. All right, Florida.
How you feeling about them? Summerall's there, head coach. How you feeling about Gainesville right now?
I thought the Aaron Follow coming in was going to be a lock, but Tramel Jones has been pushing it in the spring scrimmages so far, and it's giving some noise in the air. But I think ultimately Buster Faulkner's system from Georgia Tech should be able to transfer over. I love, and I don't like to use this word a lot, but I love John Summerall, bro. Like, I watched his interview with Pate. I was like, dog, like, he's supposed to be a head coach. Like, he was supposed to. Their offensive line.
That's why people believe in him, too. He's won everywhere, bro.
Yeah. Their offensive line remains their biggest structural problem because outside of that, they're loaded. They still got, they lost a lot. They got Blah. They dealing with some injuries in the spring. Like, so that part is still trying to come together. DJ Blackway not there no more, I think could take the monkey off of our back as the Florida fans, because being the butt of everybody's jokes is not fun, bro, especially for Florida for such a long time. So I think their schedule at they home versus FAU and Campbell, so you stay home in Florida. You got to go on the road to Auburn, at Mizzou, at Texas.
I gotta go.
Okay. We got at Mizzou, at Texas, at Georgia, at Kentucky, at Florida State. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, they're only favored in the Auburn game, and that's on the 19th. And they're favored by 1.5. So it's going to be pick'em. They also favored at Kentucky and Florida State, my fault. The Georgia game on Halloween. Ooh. World's largest cocktail party on Halloween. Oh, boy, that's going to be fun. You better grab your popcorn now. They got Oklahoma after Georgia, at Kentucky versus Vandy, at Florida State. Compared to the rest of the SEC schedules, that they got blessed by having a bye week later in October, and then they also got blessed by having a kind of a light, going to Sanford Stadium ain't no joke, or playing Oklahoma. But, you get to play newly installed Will Stein. You get to play Mike Norvell. Vandy is always going to be a test. I was interested to see what this looks like, but I'm hopeful for Florida. Very hopeful for Florida heading into the 2026 season. That South Carolina game on the 10-10, that's probably the one that I feel like is a trap game, because I don't know how South Carolina is going to be this year on the offense. Let's go to the next one. The Ducks, Oregon. Oregon, they got a relatively manageable Big Ten slate, but they must travel to Ohio State in November. You know that's not pretty. One thing I did love about Oregon in 2025 is that they showed the ability to stand up to the pressure. The Happy Valley game, that was the beginning of the end for James Franklin. Going on the road. I know they didn't win against Indiana at home, but they did showcase to me at least some road stability. My question ultimately for Oregon and those fans are, can Dan Lanning, after the losses of Tosh Lapoy and Stein, can he continue the upward trajectory of development for this roster that is so young, so prime, brewing with potential, and ready to cash out in 2026? That's the question for them. Michigan, another Big Ten team. Michigan, Kyle Whittingham has to face Ohio State, of course. Every year they have a countdown clock for this game. It's the game. But you got to play Oklahoma out of conference too, as the back half of that home and home. My question for Michigan is, how quickly does Whittingham's philosophy and his imprint and his DNA start to rub off on his team, and we start seeing Utah North up here in Michigan? I said it earlier in the show, but Michigan, you changed the energy around your program over the last couple of months, because we rewind a little bit time ago, it wasn't so pretty. Coming up next, Alabama. Alabama might be probably the most intriguing team to me, because Keelan Russell versus Mac. I mean, DeBoer has come out and praised Russell after the scrimmage, and I'm excited for A-Day. I'm excited for Yanze Pierre this year, Desmond Omozulu this year. The DB room is going to be loaded with Bray Hubbard, Keon Sabb, Dijon Lee, Xavion Brown. So they got talent all over the place. The wide receiver core, filthy. I'm interested to see how they continue to move. Does Ryan Williams play in the slot? Is he playing on a boundary like he did his freshman season? How are they mixing up with the new talent that came in and was productive last year? That's the question marks that I have. But overall, offensive line, I feel like every team in the SEC, you're going to have to figure out what your offensive line looks like, because that could be the make or break of your season. 100%. DJ Lagway wasn't comfortable early last year because we had high expectations for Florida's offensive line, and they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. Georgia, we were kind of questionable about Georgia for this year because of the offensive line, and Georgia doesn't look like Georgia. You know what I'm saying? A lot of quick everything. So I'm interested for Alabama specifically to see, one, how does Mac versus Russell battle? How long does it stay unresolved? Who ends up getting the job done? The pass rush and the edge defense for Alabama this year in 2026 is going to be absolutely loaded. Yanze Pierre, write the name down. It's Yanze with the Yhonzae. Remember, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be the next Alabama edge that they're talking about in the draft, that he's going to get a lot of high praise. Bookmark it. The DB room is elite, in my opinion. They was elite last year. They got more snaps, more depth, more experience. And I'm looking at Dijon Lee this year, Xavier Brown, Bray Hubbard, and the rest of them boys, especially the young cats. I'm like, yo, they gonna be a problem. We talked about offensive line depth already, but when you get Noah Rogers in the portal, he already being a standout wide receiver, we love that. Caleb Edwards already starting to become a trusted tight end source and stepping into that leadership role. You love to see it, especially after Josh Cuevas' departure for it. So they got multiple scholarship options, my apologies, on their tight end room. Coming up next, Mississippi State. Mississippi State, has the chance to go from a tough last year to kind of doing the unthinkable. I still remain cautious of Mississippi State. And I think it's because that the spring is kind of involved into two different stories for them. One, on one side, you have a defense that's finding their identity under Zach Arnett. And then on the other side, let's stay with Zach Arnett real quick. They dominate first scrimmage. They got effort, pass rush is there, energy is there, attitude is there. But then you have an offense that is trying to figure itself out after the offensive line lost Brandon Snee. So in the what's the word? Ineligibility. I almost got tongue tied. That ineligibility ranking and ruling already caught them slipping. And this has happened before he even took a spring football snap. So you got to depend on Kanan Boone. You got to depend on Blake Steen. And they were starters in 2025, but you're expecting them to hold up. Now, the big question for everybody is Kamario Taylor. He's a clear quarterback number one in this situation entering the spring game that's happening on the 11th of April. He got elite dual threat upside. That's something that you need to know about Kamario Taylor. And I struggle with the word elite. I don't want to use it just throwing it out there like it's just nerds and candy on Halloween. But I do say that, like, they have backup depth in the room, so the room has depth and experience. But Kamario Taylor, hopefully this ankle surgery and all of that is behind him right now. And he can, like, take those next steps, which I hope and I anticipate him doing in 2026. The defense, I'm hearing that they've been dominating out there. And Zach Arnett is clicking. Offense, we still got to deal with some things, but the schedule, they got to face Alabama. What week is Alabama? 10-3. So that's first week of October. Alabama, you get a bye week. But that first 5-game stretch, you got to play ULM, Warhawks. You got to go to Minnesota. You got to go to South Carolina. You got to play Missouri. And you got to play Alabama. Both home games for Missouri and Alabama. That is a tough 5-week stretch for anybody in the nation. Going to Minnesota and going to Columbia, South Carolina. That's crazy. Then after your bye week, you got to travel to Death Valley with Lane Kiffin. You got to play Oklahoma. And then at Texas. Ooh, I'm trying to tell you. My record projection for Mississippi State might not be the best. But the back half of their schedule actually shakes up to be a little bit on the lighter note with them. They have Auburn on the 14th of November. They also have Vanderbilt on the 7th of November. And they have Ole Miss on the last week of the season, a.k.a. the Egg. I think my projection for Mississippi State might be along the lines of like 4-8, 5-7. If they get to bowl eligibility this year, I will walk and shake Jeff Lebby's hand myself and say, great freaking job, dog. Because I didn't even anticipate this at all. That's Mississippi State. Last but not least, as far as schedules that we going, making sure we get active tonight, fellas, it's Kentucky. Shout out to the Wildcats. Listen, man, the defining narrative with Kentucky in 2026 is probably going to be their arrival of Kenny Minchie and their arrival of Will Stein. Offensive coordinator Joe Sloan, I think he's really going to help Kenny Minchie get into his bag and really start to develop into that next version of Minchie. This quarterback uncertainty and instability that they have had in Kentucky, this is take Cutter Boley out of it because he flashed last year for sure. But, like, overall, it's been inconsistencies. Like, we don't want to have to go into the season with Brock Vandergriff in seasons past. So this year, I think we should have a little bit more confidence if you're a Kentucky fan. Just looking at our quarterback position by itself. When I look at Kentucky's portal class, it was ranked 11th in the country, and they have some talent coming in. They added Colton Price, a center that could come in to help. He's going to be instrumental in this offensive line's growth and development. They also added, who else? Tegra Chishabala, a 4-star, who can help give interior foundation. So if you notice, Will Stein said, we're going to attack the areas that we need to attack, and we're going to go crazy, 100%. We're going to plug and play. But the reason why I can't, or probably has a hard chance of working in this year, is their schedule. And it's not even because I don't even like the team. There's no other way to say this besides just saying it. They play the Youngstown State Penguins for opening week. They got to play Alabama early. They got to play at Texas A&M, at South Carolina, at Oklahoma, at Tennessee, at Missouri. At least they don't have to play Georgia, right? Thank God. At least they don't have to play Texas. Thank God. They got to play A&M. But I'm thinking Kentucky maybe got on a lesser side. You talk about Oklahoma, and then they got Florida as well. I forgot about the Florida game. They play Louisville at home in the rivalry, of course, last week of the season. They play Florida on the 14th of November. They play at home versus Vanderbilt on the 24th. They got a bye week on Halloween weekend. Home game versus LSU. Home game versus South Alabama. And that's Kentucky's schedule. As far as what they're favored, the only game that they're favored all year long is against Youngstown State and South Alabama. Outside of that, it's slim pickings to try to figure out where Kentucky is going to have an edge. But there's still a lot to love, though. It's still a lot to love. Martellus Carter is reportedly transitioning to running back for this team, so maybe that could be some punch. I think this position style switch is something that you're going to start to see more of with players to come in and say, okay, you might have been a good running back. Let's try you at linebacker. So I'm looking forward to see how that helps. CJ Baxter coming in, Jason Patterson project. I think that they got some upside there in that room. Obviously, the secondary is being rebuilt right now after them being kind of like a staple for the defense for Kentucky for a while. So that's going to be interesting to see how this group tries to evolve under defense coordinator Jay Bateman. So that's something to pay attention to. Will Stein has a no depth chart type of philosophy that he's been implementing. So you saw that in the blue and white scrimmage that they had with their intertwined squads. But everybody says returning productions. They only got 6 returning starters, 28 plus portal additions. So roster cohesion is going to mean everything. Injury note, their guy, Sam Green, linebacker transfer, he has an ACL injury. He's going to be out all of spring practice, and his availability for the 2026 season opener versus Youngstown State is uncertain. And this is coming from defensive coach Bateman. That is the top 10 schedules that are the toughest in the country. If I had to say my number one, I put Texas at number one, but I could totally understand why people would have Arkansas at number one, Oklahoma at number one. Oklahoma for the last couple of years, it feels like since we made this jump to the SEC, every year is a tough schedule for us. Texas is up there, but notice how we didn't have any Georgia on that schedule. We didn't have any Georgia. We didn't have any of Tennessee on the schedule. Could it be South Carolina wasn't mentioned? And, the last couple of years, South Carolina's been having tough schedules. But this toughest schedule rankings is mostly ruled by the Big Ten and the SEC. In fact, all ruled by the Big Ten and SEC, which makes sense. They got the most teams, the most talent, the most juggernauts. So you already know what it is. I'm your boy Moon. What's good, Joseph Clark? Shout out D Now. Shout out to my guy said Sonny is shady, throwing Hoover under the bus. Listen, he did. I don't really like the comments, but I tried to push back and say, well, the media has been asking him the same question over and over again for a while now. So he probably was just frustrated with that. But I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. I'm your boy Moon, a.k.a. CFB Moon, National Credential Media member of the CFB Nation. Appreciate you, man, tuning in, watching this college football content. We're getting so close to the season being here. Spring games is in full swing. And you want to stay locked and keep it up with us. Make sure you hit that follow button if you enjoy the content. If you want to support us more, think about checking out our website at thecfbnation.com. Also, consider giving us a subscription on YouTube at thecfbnation.com if you feel value of what we're talking about. And I'm about to go watch a college football game from last year. Don't mind me. For another episode in the book of Overreaction Monday, where we got a chance to talk about a lot of things, including Jaden Craig and his new team that's welcomed him open arms at TCU. We got a chance to talk about Sonny Dykes and his extension that is reportedly over $7 million per season. And him trying to talk spicy to Josh Hoover. We talked about Chandler Morris being denied, and what does this look like for Chandler Morris? Is he out of football? Does he make a appeal? Does he try coaching? We talked about that on this episode and compared it to Trinidad Chambliss, Joey Aguilar, and other quarterbacks. We talked about Donald Trump's executive order and an urgent national action to save college sports. This is going to help crack down on eligibility with the 5-year window and also limit athletes to one transfer with immediate eligibility, and also crack down on NIL pay-for-play arrangements. All of this is supposed to be starting on August the 1st, 2026 year of our Lord. We talked about that. And then we also got busy talking about the top 10 schedules of 2026. For another jam-packed show, this is your boy Moon. Special shout out to the gang in CFB Nation. Until next time, my friend, I only got one word for you. Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. Downtown Nino.